I'm Connor Northrup. I'm now joined by Brad Katona, who is set to fight for the EMC Bantamweight Championship on October 31st against Stipe Burchik. What's up? How you doing, Brad?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, good, good. Now I know this fight's in Germany. Have you been to Germany before? Have you fought there at least?
No, this is my first time in Germany, so I guess if the world wasn't as crazy as it is right now, I'd be staying like one of the best parts about fighting. And there's many good parts, but one of the best parts is you get to see different parts of the world. And always wanted to go to Germany, so I'll be in Germany, but it's not like fight week you're able to really enjoy it too much. So if the world wasn't as crazy as it is, then I'd be exploring a little bit more. Like I'd be looking to see what all is there to do. But this one, it's business. It's in and out, and then yeah, get ready for whatever's next.
Yeah. What has it been like too? Like, what's your kind of situation been like? You're talking about how there's kind of restrictions now, like if you are going to Germany, things like that. Like, what has kind of training like, and your kind of, I mean, I don't even know if we can call it quarantine anymore, but what's your kind of COVID experience, I guess, been like?
It's been mixed. So I'm stationed out here in Dublin, Ireland. So uh, around March when COVID first hit and they were locking down here, I went home to Canada. So I went back home and I was there until July. So it was good where I was able to be home and where I am in Canada, it was less restricted. We didn't crack down quite as hard as Dublin needed to, so it was somewhat normal life, like somewhat. Um, but it's been a matter of adapting, with all the lockdowns and then things opening up and then back half steps backwards and steps forward. It's just being adapting and it kind of it keeps you on your toes, keeps you appreciating what you have in the moment. Like here in Ireland, things are locking down a little bit tighter, but it's just the process. We're trending upwards, so it's been. I've tried to take the good with the bad. Like being home was nice. I could in the first little while I couldn't see friends, but once things opened up, I could see friends. I could see family. I can enjoy like a proper summer back home, so that was nice. But then again, sport was restricted. I didn't have the opportunity to compete, so. Um, yeah, you take the good with the bad, I guess.
Yeah. Like when you first made that decision to go back to Canada too, like did you like in your head, like did you feel like, oh, it's good, just maybe like a month or two and I'll be back? Like, what was kind of the thought process?
Pretty much a month. Like a
Yeah.
month was going to be like with buffer, because here they were talking about like a 2 week initial lockdown. I was like, okay, 2 weeks. Just going to be close 2 weeks. I'll go home for a month, and then once I booked that flight Saturday morning. By the time we flew out on Monday, it was like, okay, a month might be 2 months, and then 2 months turned into three, turned into four. So yeah, it was crazy. I think in some ways it exceeded most people's expectations of how long this would be going on. Like we're still dealing with it. I know all the promotions that find ways around the situation. So it's at least for me as an athlete and us as a society, at least it's trending upward. So um, hopefully we'll be back to normal soon enough.
Yeah. Were you able to like get some training in like in Canada too? Like at least like I know some guys are doing like the whole like garage thing, things like that.
Yeah, I set up my parents' garage because this is going back home. So yeah, we set up the garage pretty good. My old boxing gym, boxing lent us some weights, so and a heavy bag, so we can get in some work in there. When the weather started getting a little bit nicer, then Whamma, my original jiu-jitsu gym, lent us some mats to use. So then we could kind of uh, practice, but no gyms are open, nothing's open. So it was refreshing in some ways because it felt like back to the basics, back to as old school as you could get. Like we were working
Yeah.
out in a garage. It's no fancy gyms, it's no infrared saunas and ice baths or anything. I turned the heater on when it was like -20 outside, so I turn the heater on, warm up the garage, get the workout in, go back inside, and it was refreshing. But man, I'm glad that things are trending upwards because
Yeah.
like the novelty wore off pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like crazy too, because so many like fighters were saying that, like, I've been working so hard to kind of almost like get away from that. Like, I don't have to like train in my garage. Like, I know I have a gym, I have this, I have all that. And then it's like then you had to go back, like, with
Yeah,
kind of
exactly. Like
no.
once you get used to luxury, and for me, luxury was having, I guess, mats and heat. So that was a luxury in the gym. No longer am I complaining if the mats are a little worn out or if my gloves are a little worn out. Like it was a heavy bag and it was old rusty weights, like pretty much. And I got in some good sessions in there.
Yeah. Now I know you maybe back to Ireland. I think it was like around July. I saw on Instagram. Like, what's it kind of been like too? I mean, are most of the guys kind of back now, like your usual training partners?
When I got back, things really picked up quite hot because Bellator is going on. We just had 6 teammates compete on Saturday. We have another handful on Thursday, another handful the following Saturday, and the Saturday after that. So there's been a lot of guys with fights coming up. Myself included. I have fights coming up. So it was kind of as soon as the gym could open, there was no shortage of training partners. The energy was high. Everyone's excited to be back in the gym, and so it's been nice. And even coming from John, our coach, he didn't have an opportunity to coach for a while, and I think it was maybe a much needed break. He never lacked enthusiasm, but sometimes when like you lose your routine and you come back, he definitely stepped his game up as well, which is a hard thing to do because he's been already world class. So it was like the energy in the gym was really positive, and everyone was excited to just be training again and be training for fights.
Yeah. Now I know you last fought in September. Obviously, this is like a new chapter for you. But just going off, from kind of what you just said, like about John too. Like, was there anything like refreshing about this too? Like, I know you had some time off already between them, but like, was this kind of just like more of a nagging thing because it kind of came later, or was it like, what, it's just time to like relax a little bit and control what I can?
Yeah, in the middle of the lockdown, it's a little bit of, well, one, staying ready because opportunity does come up, and we've seen it a number of times of guys getting opportunities a little early just because they were the ones staying ready. For me, luckily, I love what I do, so I was training anyway, so I would be ready for if anything came up during this entire process. Has it been refreshing? It's kind of sucked, man. Like, like to be honest with you, like ideally, I'd be on Fight Island right now fighting. But I'm not, and I'm watching guys who I beat get that opportunity. So it's one of those where I don't want to say I'm bitter, but like I now that I have something coming up, I'm just excited to show off this year of work because it's not like after any of my losses that I needed a kick in the butt and get motivated. Each time it's been a tightening up and just making myself better. And now, like, really, what do I have left to lose? There's nothing left to lose, and I know that's cliche, but I'm excited just to show off everything I've done because, man, I worked hard. I didn't just work hard. Like, this guy's busting their butt, running outside, working hard. I've worked smart, and it's just it's been a team effort, and I can't wait to show it off. Like, this being 5 rounds, especially, there's plenty of time to show it all off. So if things go as planned, maybe I don't show much, and it's over quickly, but I have 25 minutes to do it, and so I'm excited on that.
For sure. And I want to talk more about that fight, but before we do, I have another question for you. As far as like, you said ideally, you would like to be on Fight Island by now. But for you, like, was there ever when you kind of were done with the UFC that first stint, did you ever think like, oh, maybe I would do like a Bellator or anything like that? Or was it kind of as soon as you were gone, it's right back to UFC?
You know, you have to weigh the options. You have to weigh the options, certainly. Unfortunately, COVID kind of took away all the options. You know, it was like, okay, get cut, get injured, and then COVID. You know, so it was kind of poor timing.
Yeah.
You know, even talking to management, what are they supposed to do when nobody knows what's next? You know, now it's just proven I'm world class. I've always said I'm world class. I've beaten world class guys. It's just showing it again, and I know what I'm capable of. So I'm more excited for this. It's not really everything I've said my entire career. It could be pressure, but it's really at this point, man. I'm free. I'm just excited to really show it. It's been a long year, and I know it's been a long year for many people, but it's been a long year of work. Like, yeah, for this fight, it's not an 8 week or 10 week training camp. It's been like a 52 week training camp. It's been a lot.
Yeah. Well, it's like even crazy too, because if you think about some of these guys too, who like yourself, kind of fought maybe towards like the end of like 2019, or like that September to December range. It's like in their minds, they're like, oh, maybe I'll just get like a fight, like in March, April, May, that kind of thing. That obviously silenced. And now it's almost a year since they last fought with like really that was never the intention.
Exactly. Like if it was up to me, I would have competed a couple times.
Yeah.